Hey, we're checking out some of George's famous guitars hanging in Lynchbox Studios. I'm here with Jerry. And Jerry, I remember this guitar for sure.
Yeah, we call this the Pants guitar. And this guitar was last seen on the 1988 Monsters of Rock tour with Van Halen, Metallica, Scorpions. I don't know if you remember that tour, but George had a pair of pants that was done up in in patchwork. Mm-hmm. And ESP requested a bolt of the fabric
That the pants were made out of?
yeah, and they covered it with this guitar. Now this guitar went missing for over 20 years.
No shit.
And it just resurfaced in Northern California.
Okay, so give me the story.
George's brother had it.
Wait, so it's one of those throw it in the trunk of the car stories that we just talked about?
Yeah, and nothing was touched on this guitar since that Monsters of Rock tour.
This caught my eye right away when I walked in. Not typical for him.
What do you think? What do you think it is?
Well, I mean, it definitely looks like a pretty badass standard to me, you know.
Well, what it is, George had been playing on this 56 Les Paul that he thought was completely badass.
The bomb.
But whoever owned it over there wouldn't let him have it, and ESP decided to make him one as a gift. And this is an ESP, but if you look very closely at the headstock, you see George.
Yeah, and this never went into production,
No.
correct? So this is like
This was a one-off.
a special gift
Right.
to feed the thirst he had
Mhm.
from ESP.
Mm-hmm.
That's very cool. You
And
want
we
to flip
call
it
this-
around?
We call this the George Paul.
The George Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, on the backs of most of George's guitars, I've made the marking, what pickup is in the bridge position, and what gauges it's strung up with.
So, Seth Lover in the bridge,
Mhm.
and then Trem.
Trimbucker spacing,
Okay, Trem Bucker spacing, and there's the gauge 10 through
Mhm.
46.
and then the date that I put that was put in.
Okay, yeah, that's very cool. Spurzels up top.
Yeah, that was done summer of 2005.
Some extra holes there for some added vibe.
Yeah, well, tuning stability too.
Yeah, right.
This was the workhorse of the new album. It's 27-inch scale length, EMG 81 set in it, and what we were talking about lowering the output of the guitars. For this, you lower the gain on the amp.
Yeah, not the case because of the actives, but
And then one thing I noticed because when you're tuned in B, there's just such a natural rumble when it's clean. You don't even really need distortion. You don't need the overdrive, because there's a natural breakup that comes from just the strings.
And we talked about, we had a nice conversation about like drop tuning and the different tunings and string gauges and stuff like that. And what is he using for string gauge on this guitar?
On this guitar, it's a straight 13 gauge set
With a wound G.
with a wound G, and then for the more standardized guitars that he plays, if we're tuned at half step down, we use a hybrid set that nobody on this planet packages.
Yeah, you told me about this. This is
It's,
actually really wacky.
It would be like the top 3 strings of a 10 gauge set and the bottom 3 strings of a 9 gauge set.
What's the name of the guitar?
Years ago, the nickname for it was Mom.
Okay.
And that's actually a replica of the original. The original was designed and carved by a friend of ours, John Garcia. He goes by the name of J Frog.
Yeah.
And this particular guitar is a replica of the original one. The original one now hangs at a Hard Rock in Costa Rica. This particular Tiger, there was only 100 of those made. It's a maple body, single humbucker, Floyd single volume knob, and only 100 of those were made exclusively for Sam Ash on George's clinic tour last fall. This is the 20th anniversary Kamikaze. 12 of them were made.
Okay.
And
So we're seeing some subtle differences between the two.
Right.
Like right here, there's an additional mini switch.
This is a kill switch. You know, and one of the things that George likes to do, like on a Les Paul, you know, I mean, Ace Frehley did it, you know, the tremolo, you know,
Sure.
and that was added on here as part of the production standard on this model. It has mirror glass inlay, and then mother of pearl bombs here, mother of pearl kamikaze right here.
Yeah, as opposed to the decal we see on the original here. Some of the differences. It looks
It's
like
also a higher grade of maple. This is much heavier than, I mean, the Lynch model guitars are heavy already. This one's heavier.
so. He's one of those dudes that's not actually all about like the flyweight thing. And
Because it adds more sustain.
Sure.
You know, it's a singing guitar. You know,
Haji.
Skull and Snakes. This graphic was designed by a guy named John Dismukes. He's famous for a lot of his graphic work with motorcycles and so forth. This one's the first one, and what makes this one different is that it was painted on, and you know, hand done. And so if you look closely, I don't know if you could see this, but if you look closely, you could see the grain. You could see the grain of the wood through the paint.
Oh, sure. It's tough to kind of capture, but if you turn your head to
Yeah.
different angles, you see it. So this is the original.
Right, and then another thing that's different about this is that it has the skull and cross swords facing horizontally from the neck,
And the production models went the other way.
yeah, they face up this way.
Okay.
It also has mirrored glass swords on it. You know,
So check this out over here.
the body on this is alder.
Oh, it's alder. And I don't know if you can see this, Joe. Is that like a recess for the jack right there?
Yeah. All the production Lynch models have it. You know, you could see it even closer, or even better on this guitar.
Kind of keeps it tucked out of the way for him live.
When you're using a straight plug cable, which I thought was ingenious when I first saw that.
Tell me about this ESP.
This is the GL56. It was discontinued in 1997. Its initial production run was 95 through 97, and then they brought it back last year. This one, George had retrofitted with a Roland GK pickup, and then these buttons here are to be able to scroll up and down the programs of the new VG99 by Roland.
So he can change tunings and things like that.
Right, and then also be able to play other instrument tones from this guitar while also playing his lead and rhythm, you know.
What's the bridge pickup right here?
This is a Seymour Duncan Pearly Gates,
Okay.
which is kind of fitting for a guitar like this,
Sure.
you know, because what George likes to do is he primarily plays clean stuff with this, with a cranked amp like the Super Reverb
Sure.
that he takes on the road a lot. And so he gets that nice spanking, you know, jangly tone. And then, you know, when you plug it into the Lynch box, you know, on a heavy overdriven thing, because it's a lower output pickup, you know, it's a really strong overdrive.
It's
I mean,
got
that's
great
one
clarity.
of the things. That's one of the things that we've learned over the years. You know, I mean, I kind of learned this together with George. Was that the lower the output of the pickup, you know, it makes the amp perform better. Because you know, when you start putting like,
front loading that circuit.
right a higher output pickup, now you're compromising the integrity of the amp. You know, so I mean, this particular guitar is something that George likes to use for those kind of tones. You know, real you know, old style type of guitar tones.
Sure. So if on some level, it's safe to say George subscribes to the theory of let the amp do the work. You know, let the pickup be a little more on the natural vintage side of things and get the complexity and the nuances to come out.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Jerry, thanks, man. Thanks so much for giving us the inside scoop on all the cool Lynch guitars. I'm Brett. You're watching PremierGuitar.com.